Hello, everybody. I am Renemy Kylis, and this video is actually inspired by my friends in the anti community, the anti SJW community, and I butchered that word, and the anti feminist community. It is inspired by Liz Reptile and Sevvie, and I'm not sure if I butchered her name or not, but I hope I pronounced it right. Sevvie, who they're not huge fans of feminism or the social justice community, and me, I'm in the anti spectrum, anti because it's kind of like the wage gap has been debunked. It's an earnings gap. And I just want to, before I get started, let you know what my agenda is. What you guys probably don't know about me is that when I was in high school, I was in the FBLA. And FBLA stands for Future Business Leaders of America. And part of that was learning about communications. And for that, my teacher at the time recommended How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And so I have been interested in communicating things effectively because if you don't communicate things effectively, you're never ever going to have much of a win. You're just going to revisit the exact same problem later on down the line. You really got to address the problem head on, and that would involve people talking, people listening, instead of people focused on winning. Because when you're focused on winning, ah, Dale Carnegie actually had a great arguments for people who are focused on winning, but I don't have the quotes on me right now. But still, I do try to understand where the feminist sphere is coming from. And, I sort of do. It's kind of like Sevvie. Sevvie is a woman, but I believe she merged with her biological twin brother. So she and her twin brother merged, and her twin brother is inside her. Not sexually, but it's kind of like they're embryos when they were both embryos, or I don't know how it happened, but her twin brother somehow merged inside her. So she has a really high testosterone level. So she's like gender queer, but she's still a female. Or when it comes to Liz Reptile made a video response to Sean had how many genders, and I'll leave that in the description below. And basically, Liz Reptile talks about how she has a really high testosterone level, and because of her high testosterone level, because of some disease, it leads her to, it leads people to thinking she's trans, and it leads people to thinking she's a dyke. Her words, by the way, just in case anybody got hashtag triggered. And what some of you may know, what some of you may not know is that Black women tend to have high testosterone level, and I am going to be reading from Huffington Post about Black women having high testosterone level. Um, What accounts for the markedly low level of physical attractiveness among Black women? Black women are, on average, much heavier than the non-Black women. The mean body mass index at wave whatever among Black women is 26.1. Among non-Black women, Black women and non-Black men do not differ in BMI 27.0. However, this is not the reason Black women are less physically attractive than non-Black women. And this address it here. I would reread this in case I bored anybody, but it says this is not the reason Black women are less physically attractive than non-Black women, because OkCupid did a survey, and in this survey, you know, Black women, we have been viewed as the least attractive among all the races. Black women have lower average level of physical attractiveness nets of BMI, nor can the race difference in intelligence and positive association between intelligence and physical attractiveness account for the race difference in physical attractiveness among women. Black women are still less physically attractive than non-black women nets of BMI and intelligence. Nets intelligence, Black men are significantly more physically attractive than non-Black men. The only thing I could think of that might potentially explain the lower average level of physical attractiveness among Black women is testosterone. Africans, on average, have higher levels of testosterone than other races, and testosterone, being an androgen male hormone, affects the physical attractiveness of men and women differently. Men with higher levels of testosterone have much masculine features and are therefore more physically attractive. In contrast, women with higher levels of testosterone also have more masculine features and are therefore less physically attractive. The race difference in level of testosterone can therefore potentially explain why Black women are less physically attractive than women of other races. While nets of intelligence, Black men are physically attractive than men of other races. So here, Huffington Post explains that the reason why people do not find Black women attractive is because Black women tend to have very high testosterone levels in comparison to other women. And even behavior wise, like when people were talking about the OkCupid survey about how Black women are the least attractive amongst all the other races, many men were complaining that Black women come across as too manly. They're like, well, Black women are too mannish, or they're too manly, or another word is ghetto. But when they say ghetto, they really mean manly, and even when I was playing video games, like even when I was playing Rift, many people were saying that Black women act too much like men. And that could be related to the testosterone level. And I mean, this is a simple thing to fix. Flaxseed. If you take ground flaxseed, it is really high in estrogen. You could really um self medicate, I guess you could call it that. You can fix your own hormonal imbalance, yourself. Kind of like when I was getting a CAT scan years ago. I'm completely sane, people. I'm not crazy in the head or anything. But when I was getting a CAT scan in high school, as it turns out, I had really higher than average testosterone levels. but it's probably normal among Black women. However, when I was in the military, briefly, I got booted from the military for medical reasons. I'm still sane, by the way, but I was medically booted from the military, and they were doing blood work on me, and they were like saying I don't have higher than normal testosterone, that my testosterone level and estrogen levels are very normal for a girl. So how is it possible? How is it that in a CAT scan I have high levels of testosterone, but when I was in the military I had normal levels? And this would be because estrogen could be found in a wide variety of products. You can get estrogen in sugar, you could get estrogen in milk, you could get estrogen in flaxseed. Flaxseed, if you get ground flaxseed, you can get a really high dosage of estrogen. So, estrogen is found in a wide variety of products. You could really fix your own hormonal imbalance. So for me, I never really went through the whole gender fluid thing, gender non-conforming thing. Not me personally. I do think I could understand it a bit because I enjoyed video games. I still like video games. I like comic books. And then there's society pressure or pressure from family and the community, like, you like video games, but you're a girl. Video games aren't for girls. My mother and my cousins said that to me all the time. Like, video games aren't for girls. That's for boys. Or like I liked wearing sneakers and whatnot. And it's like, you like sneakers instead of wearing high heels. But, that's a boyish thing, and that's not really a girl thing. And I could see where it's coming from because, I had that phase, but it was just a phase for me. And it was a phase me coming from society. It's a phase, but it's a phase from, video games are for boys, and, sneakers are for boys, and, the society where I come from. I come from, a Pentecostal church, and women are supposed to wear dresses. In a Pentecostal church, there is really strict gender roles. And when I look into gender roles, many feminists that talk about it come from very strict Christian backgrounds. And this is where I'm talking about. It's about the communications issues. You guys aren't really communicating. And, it's both y'all's faults. Feminists are wrong for calling you sexist, misogynist, homophobe, transphobe, each and every single name in the book, and blocking you for even politely and respectfully disagreeing. But the punnage culture doesn't help, where it's like, watch this feminist get wrecked. I'm gonna pun this feminist. Watch this feminist get owned. And really, enjoying Dale Carnegie, I believe it's really important to communicate your thoughts and your feelings. And the reason is why is because this victory could be short lived because social justice is still in academia, it's still in the colleges. Kids are still being indoctrinated in this shit, and it could backfire if you're just going, oh, you're a weirdo, you're a freak, when they probably never been exposed to your idea before. It's like, I never even heard. I mean, it's kind of like, if you are indoctrinated into the wage gap, and a person calls you an idiot, stupid, and ugly, and you never heard an opinion difference from yours, it could be a huge turnoff. And Dale Carnegie did talk about that in the first chapter of How to Win Friends and Influence People, that it could be a huge turn off when you're hearing an idea for the first time, but it's done in a really hostile, rude manner. It's like, you know what, fuck you, because they feel disrespected. People are usually up for hearing a differences of opinion if it's presented to them in a kind, respectful manner. Not everybody. Sure, there's going to be some people who don't care how nice you are. You know, I've been blocked by feminists too by respectfully disagreeing, like, hey, I respectfully disagree, and it's like block. And I still see the feminist community as basically an insecurity, community. It's still predominantly about women's insecurity. Like, if you've been called a slut and it hurt you, it really hurt your feelings. It's like, no, slut shaming. Or if you been called fat and it really hurt your feelings, it really got to you and it makes you cry. It's like, no, fat shaming. The social justice community, it is, you know, a community all about your insecurities. That's really what it is, your grievances. Those are your insecurities. And people shouldn't deliberately offend you, but at the exact same time, you need thicker skin. You need a thicker skin and not let it get to you. It's like if a person calls you a bitch, look, even I was offended by the word bitch, but what helped me was listening to a song. I do not know the name of it, but it's that song that goes, I'm a bitch, I'm a mother, I'm a child, I'm a lover, I'm a sinner, I'm a saint. I do not feel ashamed. Yeah, just be like, I'm a bitch and I'm proud of it. Own it. And when I heard that song, like, I'm a bitch, I'm a mother, I owned the word bitch. It's like, that's my word now. And you will never ever use it to bring me down ever again. Now, when people call me a bitch, I don't care. Though people don't really call me that anymore. It's something that people used to call me, but not so much anymore. Now people generally say that I'm a really nice, kind person, but I have been called anti-black and I have been called anti-white. So apparently I hate both black people and white people. Well, what are you gonna do? But you just got to get thicker skin and not let this stuff, get to you and stop banning words and stop blocking people over the tiniest of shits. But yeah, I mean, I could understand. It's kind of like Michael Rowlands. I know that many people in the anti community hates Michael Rowlands, but he brought up that, many people call Sargon, Sargon. Many people called vernaculus, vernaculus. But, it is hard to call a transgender person by their preferred names and pronouns. I thought that was a good point. However, Blair White also made a great counter argument, and that is Blair White never told anybody to call her she, her pronouns. It comes naturally. Like Sargon never said, call me he, him, or when it comes to Blair White or frozen binary or Darren Meyer, these things come naturally. We naturally call Blair White she, her because Blair White's actually had the surgery done and actually looks the role. Darren Meyer actually got the surgery done and actually looks like a convincing woman. You know, frozen binary actually is working on it, put the hard work and effort on it. So people are like, yeah, she, her, these things come naturally, not call me she, her, or I'm gonna get you fired. motherfucker. I'm gonna fire your ass, you motherfucker. No, it's kind of like, people see Blair White, notice that Blair White looks like a woman. They're like, oh yeah, she, her. I'm gonna call her that to be, respectful. But the feminist community, you get people fired from their jobs for not calling you like Zer or Z or Rarirurero or it's like, but Blair is like woman, she, her. But again, when it comes to this gender non-binary, I have been thinking, talking to Micaiah B, because Micaiah B, like, this is an interesting one. According to McKayB, he is a trans man, and he has what's it, post traumatic stress disorder, and couldn't get on testosterone, but really wanted to. Actually has gender dysphoria. I think that McKayB has actually been diagnosed with gender dysphoria and actually does, feel gender dysphoria, actually hates the body that they're in, has PTSD, and the doctor wouldn't allow them to get on testosterone because of the PTSD. And now Makia B is actually been taking testosterone and actually been taking testosterone for a while. And then there's also the who can't afford um people who can't afford trans surgery. So what happens when a person really is a trans man, but they can't afford the surgery? And many of you guys hate socialism. Like, would you pay for somebody else's trans surgery? You're like, no, fuck that shit. Pay for yourself, freeloader. Well, it's kind of like if you want to keep living in a capitalist society, you got to understand that not everybody could afford a trans surgery. It does happen where a person is legitimately trans. The doctors have diagnosed them with gender dysphoria, but they don't have the money. And they're like, well, I would love to live in a socialist society where I could get trans surgery with taxpayers' dollars. And you're like, mm-mm. It's something to think about, that there are probably people who really do want to get a surgery done, but they can't afford it. Or there are probably people who really do feel like they're transgender, but they have schizophrenia or PTSD, and they can't get their hands on hormones. And even with Paper Genders by Walt Hayer, according to Walt Hayer, 25% of people who are transgender also have schizophrenia. And transgenderism is a comorbid disorder. Usually, people who are transgender have, dissociative identity disorder. They have PTSD. They have clinical depression. So even Walt's Care of Paper Genders says that transgenderism is a comorbid disorder. So it's actually really normal for them to have a clinical mental illness. So when Micaiah B says that he has post traumatic stress disorder and the doctors banned him from getting hormones, and they finally could get the hormones, which congratulations, you get to finally look like your desired gender. And he actually tries to look like a man. He actually cuts his hair. He actually tries to avoid wearing bras, and but wear something to hide the boobs. McCabe actually does puts forth the efforts to be a man. So, for me, I, would, try my best to call McCabe by he, him pronouns. It's easier when typing. It's far easier with typing because you can always click the backspace, but when talking, it's kind of like got to be more conscious of it. But as far as zer, we need a gender neutral pronoun. Can't I call you it? I mean, it is a gender neutral pronoun. People have been calling unborn babies it for decades. Like, even when I was like 5 years old, people would call an unborn baby and it's, and so it's kind of like so many of these non-binary people, they are mean-spirited, they're nasty, and I don't believe that you're a toucan. I don't believe that you're a dragon. I don't believe that you're an angel or a demon. I don't believe that you are something that doesn't exist. I don't believe that you're agendered or bigendered. I mean, and C's here, sir. Okay, here's a gender neutral pronoun for you. It's, it's walks to the store, it's puts on makeup, it looks weird today because come now, I mean, some people I really do think they're doing it for attention and they're just attention seekers and they have some sort of narcissism personality disorder. However, if you have been diagnosed with post traumatic stress disorder and you really tried to get on hormones, you have actually been diagnosed with gender dysphoria and your doctor refused to put you on hormones, I am, and you put for the effort, you actually try to look like a man or, whatever. I am willing to call you by the correct pronouns. It may take me some time to get used to it or adjust to it. Or if you really put forth the effort, if you really tried, but you do not have the money, you're just too poor to do it. Again, I am willing to accommodate you, but again, Blair White's also brought up a good point that, misgendering people is so traumatic to a trans person, but trans people misgender Blair White's all the time. Trans people keep calling Blair White's, a gay man, a femboy, a twink. So if it's devastating to call trans people by their birth pronoun, and it's so horrible and devastating, then how come you do not extend this to Blair White? This is why people take issue with the SJW community. You do seem to be full of shit when you go and say it's traumatic, it's traumatizing. If you mispronoun me, I'm going to commit suicide. Oh, Blair White, well, I don't like you. He, him, you're a man, Blair White. You're a man. You're a he. You're a femboy. You're a twink. I mean, I watch Blair White's channel and I see what you guys call her. I see what you call her. So you belie your own arguments. You make these arguments, but you discredit yourselves, you know. But I do think that there's some points to it. Like again, CV merged with her twin brother. Um, you know, um, Liz Reptile has really high testosterone level. There are black women, including me, that has high testosterone level, but I corrected that myself by because there's so much estrogen in food products that by taking estrogen that could be found in flaxseed, I balanced it out myself. That's the reason why when went back to the doctors, they say that I'm completely normal and I don't have high testosterone. So, it's about, not letting, whatever getting into the way and just being proactive instead of whining and crying about life doing this to you and how life is unfair, and to just take a proactive stance in life and be like, you know what? there's a problem, I am going to fix it. You know what? I'm just going to take more estrogen and, you know, problem solved. Not going to worry about it. I'm going to enjoy myself. And, because me, I'm not going to let these things get them down. And I would advise the same thing for the feminist community. Like, if you're a feminist and you're obsessed about life, I would recommend reading How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. You know, be, try to be positive instead of bringing everybody else down. Misery loves company. Stop trying to make everybody as miserable as you are. Anyway, this has been Random Michaelis. I know that this is a very controversial topic, but again, my, agenda is to help promote communication between the two opposing sides. Hopefully, we could all get along, but I know that it's pretty much a pipe dream because these two sides don't necessarily want to get along. But still, hopefully, we could have a real discussion about this. And if you're an anti feminist and I upset you, I am willing to do Google Hangouts with you. I am willing to have a discussion with you about this in my comments section. This time, I would prefer if you reach out to me in my comments as opposed to Twitter because, miscommunication, sometimes deliberately, sometimes unintentionally, but people do take me out of context. And sometimes it is deliberate. Sometimes these people are deliberately taking me out of context. So if you want to have this discussion with me, I would prefer if you would leave me a comment about this. That's the way I don't have to be worried about being taken out of context. And I am willing to do a Google Hangout with you. However, there is a problem. I have been really busy. I've been busy. Like I've been called to work on Tuesday because somebody was out visiting a relative. Then I've been called to work on Thursday because somebody's off being visiting a relative. So I work randomly. I'm usually free on Mondays and I'm usually free on Wednesdays, but I am willing to do this Google Hangout things with you guys if I bothered anybody, because I do believe in conversation and I really would, like to talk and, really just have something going. Anyway, this has been Renemy Kylas here. If you agree with me, disagree with me, let's have a conversation in the comments section below. Let's talk through our disagreements and hopefully we could come to a mutual understanding or agree to disagree, whatnot. And if you want to do a video response to me, I'm cool with that too, but I would prefer if we could do a Google Hangouts. But well, whatever, you know. And if you did like this video, give me a thumbs up and share this video all over the place and tell all your friends who I am, so my channel could grow. Anyway, this has been Raina Michaelis. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon because I do make regular content. I have new videos every Thursday, but I do try to put as much videos out there as possible. So I really do hope that you enjoy my channel and would consider subscribing. Have a nice day.